Welcome everybody to Funky Junk Inspiration. My name is Christy. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications when I post a new video. Today's playlist is put on by the Take 5 group, which is Jeannie's Palette, myself, and the Painted Peach. We'd love it if you'd subscribe to our channels. The theme for today is a Christmas star. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a primitive card star, but I'm going to make it out of cardboard. I'm using this wonderful device I got at Arbor Freight. It has a blade on there and it cuts cardboard very, very easily. If you do a lot of cardboard cutting, or you're possibly a teacher that cut a lot of poster board, this is an amazing product to have. So I highly recommend it. So anyway, I just cut the flaps off of, this was a cardboard lid that I had. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a piece of paper. That is one I practiced on right there. But I'm going to just take a regular piece of paper. We need to make our triangles to form our star. Okay, so I'm going to fold it in half, then I'm going to fold it again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that and get one of those pieces off of there. I cut it that way and then I cut it the other way. So basically, out of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, you need 1/4 of it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of those papers and I've got me a rectangle. See my rectangle? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go corner to corner and draw me a line. Now, obviously, the bigger the star that you make, the bigger the triangle needs to be. The smaller the star will be. So right there, I cut that. It is important to have that crease down the middle there. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one flap off, and then I'm going to start laying out my star. Okay, one of the first things I need to do is I need to grab a... Oh, I know what I was doing right here. Anyway, I thought I was going to grab the Sharpie, but I'm like, the Sharpie's laying right next to you, Christy. My star was a little big to fit on this cardboard, which is fine because I want to make a smaller one. So what I did was I took the one that I had made before, and I measured to see if I needed it to be shorter. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to outline your triangle at the top of the board, okay? And you need to put a little dot where that center line is, okay? And then take your straight edge and just draw a long line straight down your board. Now, I want this to be horizontal, so I'm going to go from the center and I'm going to go horizontal there because that's where this first second triangle is going to be. Now, as you see here, then I just go from corner to corner. I'm laying that one straight so it's horizontal. All right, and then after I draw this one, I'm getting the corner of that triangle to the center of the board, and then you have a perfect star right there. So see, turned out really good. Okay, so now the next thing I need to do is I need to go from corner to point, okay, on each one of the triangles. Okay, so I'm drawing the center lines of the triangles. All right, there we go. Now it's time to cut out that star. Okay, I was going to use the tool right here, but I figured out that it was just a little bit simpler if I just used a pair of scissors. Sometimes that's a little harsh to use, so I just got out my scissors and used it. All right, so here I'm just cutting out the star. Easy peasy. You're just going straight in and cutting each one of basically the triangles out. Okay, so this next step right here is I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to take a box knife. A X-Acto knife will work, whatever. And I'm going to cut through, but I don't want to go all the way through. I just want to go and leave that plate or that paper on the cardboard that's on the back. And you see me cracking it open to make sure that I'm only going that far and I'm not going all the way through. Okay, so I'm just kind of bending it to start forming the star. And what it's doing is it's cutting not just the center of the each one of the triangles, but it's also cutting the other side too, so those will tuck in. So right here I'm just breaking that open, as you can see, and I missed a spot, so we had to go and redo that one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, ladies. Okay, now see, you can see me starting to form that star. All right. So before I form the actual star, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this cardboard that was one of the flaps. And I'm just going to cut off little pieces, probably about 1 inch wide. And I'm just going to cut a few of them off because I'm going to use those to help pull my star together. I'm just measuring to see if it's going to hit both sides of the angles there. So I'm just cutting those off. Now be super careful if you're using this tool. Don't like cut your end of your finger off or something silly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple bigger ones. I don't know. I just cut a bunch of them off just so I'd have them. Okay, so now we're looking at that right there. But I decided what I needed to do first was paint the thing. Okay, and I want this to look like a rustic star. Okay, so I'm going to start out painting it black. Now I'm just going to use chalk paint right here, and I'm just painting the thing black. And you got to make sure you get down in where it bends up. You'll see in a little bit where I had to go back and open that cut open so that I got down in there, because you could see the brown, you know, where the webbing is on the cardboard. I want to take this time to thank Take 5 with our playlist, the Christmas Star. I want to thank Jeannie from Jeannie's Palette and Mary from the Painted Peach, and then myself. This is our weekly playlist. We put these on once a week, every Friday, and we have some wonderful collaborators that join us for that. If you are a YouTuber and you do playlists and things like that, if you are interested in joining us, shoot one of us a note and we will add you to the playlist. It would be awesome to have a lot of our friends join us also too. Okay, so here you see I am getting down in those cuts, you know, so we don't show brown there. Although it probably really wouldn't have mattered because I end up making it rustic looking. Okay, so I'm going to dry that up a little bit. It looks like here, this is an old video that I am repurposing because I had bad time management skills this week. But it looks like I was explaining to someone that had jumped on late to a live of how we took a rectangle and made it into that triangle to make that star. So if you have any questions like that, please let me know, and I can get the answers to you if I know them. If I don't, you know, I'll make it up. No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to put a little bit on each end. And what I'm basically doing is making a strap that is going to hold that so that it's kind of at a peak. Now, the tighter your strap, the more peak you're going to have. But you want to be careful and not make it too much, because then you'll run out of give in your star. So I'm just kind of doing it a little bit on the ends. It looks like those little pieces of cardboard are probably about 2, maybe 2.5 inches wide to fit on there. Maybe 3. They look a little bit more like 3. Doesn't matter how wide they are. And you could use tape if you wanted to. You could use tape. I mean, anything that you want, you could use. You're just basically pulling those little flaps in. This is a very easy project. If I remember correctly, because when I did this for the first time, it was probably about 3 years ago. And I think I got the idea from watching Barb from the Shabby Tree. I believe that is who I seen do this. So, and you can see the back gets a little bit messy, but nobody's going to see that. Looks like I missed one of my spots there, so I just got it done real quick. Gonna dry it real fast right there. And now I am going to get out some brown paint. We're gonna put some brown paint on here. It's probably burnt umber if I remember correctly. And we are just adding that onto the top here. So see, it's already looking rusty because we've done that right there. And then I do believe I add a little bit of copper even on there so that it'll look even more rusty. And then we're gonna do a fun thing here in just a second, which is something I'm sure you guys have all seen before, but it's fun to do. Okay, so as you can see there, it is already starting to look super rusty and stuff. So I've added the black, I've added the brown, and I've put a little bit of copper on there. And now I'm gonna put some cinnamon on here, you guys, and make it look super rusty. Plus it'll add a little bit of texture to it. So we're just gonna sprinkle some cinnamon on here. This is just cinnamon that I had in the cabinet. It's actually probably outdated is why I brought it up there, but you don't need to spend money on expensive cinnamon or anything for that. Go get it at the Dollar Tree or whatever. So now this looks super rusty. I love how that looks. I think it turned out really, really good. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get me a piece of jute and make a little hanger for it. Now I'm gonna keep the hanger tucked behind one of those points so that it doesn't show. And I'm just looking to see which one I wanted to have up at the top. So we're just gonna hot glue that in there. And then I'm going to cut a little piece of cardboard to help make sure that it stays down and supports it real good. Gotta use cardboard, right? Okay, what I usually do after I'm done with a project like this is I will spray it with some clear coat. That'll hold the cinnamon on there, and plus it'll give it a nice layer on top to protect it from fingerprints and different things like that. So I think I'm just explaining that here. And I'm looking how super rusty and crazy that looks. You know how rust doesn't always end up even all over a piece of metal. But I think this project turned out really cute, and I would love it, love it, love it if you made something like this to please send me a message and let me see it. I'd like to see all your stars, and I plan on making a little collage of them, some big ones and some little ones. Okay, so here's our final reveal, a primitive star using cardboard. And please subscribe to my channel.